Manitoba. Okay, it's fun. Let's go.
That's kind of a detour for the day, helping a guy lost from Saskatchewan. Seems like the sky's still hazy today too. I thought this was a cool read today. Basically, it combines things like drones to capture data and stuff like that, while at the same time capturing some really awesome video. Here it says, aerial drones offer new perspective on resident killer whale behavior. Scientists at the University of British Columbia are getting a rare glimpse into the underwater behavior of northern and southern resident killer whales off the BC coast with the help of aerial drones. The unique footage, filmed in collaboration with the Hakai Institute, will help researchers determine if endangered southern residents are getting enough of their preferred prey, Chinook salmon, to meet their nutritional needs. The insights will inform conservation and recovery efforts for the population that has dwindled to under 75 individuals. So it's neat that they released all their footages and stuff like that just for people to see as well. It says, in order to help these whales, we need to know more about them, how they hunt, how they forage, and where their food is, said Andrew Trites, project lead and director of Marine Mammal Research Unit at UBC's Institute of Oceans and Fisheries. This is the first time drones have been used to study killer whale behavior and their prey. It's allowing us to be a fly on the wall and observe these animals undisturbed in their natural settings. I think that's one of the key things too, undisturbed in their natural settings, whereas if you guys would know, a lot of people would say, oh, you fly that thing around like an animal or a wildlife, it's gonna disrupt them like crazy and so forth. More images were captured of the much larger population of northern resident killer whales in Johnson Strait off Vancouver Island's northeast coast and off Calvert Island in the central BC coast. So of course they used a combination of being on the boat and then launching the drone from the boat, and it says from the boat we could tell they were swimming near each other, but it was only from the drone that we could see how much they were constantly touching and socializing with each other. Over the coming months, the team will analyze their data and try to build a comprehensive picture of resident killer whale feeding behavior. Quote, I keep thinking back to the beauty of the mother and calf interacting with each other, said Trites. It really drives home at what's at stake for these whales if we don't figure out what's going on. And again, some of the key points in terms of the drone being near the animal, it says, we were lucky with conditions the whole trip and came back with 10 hours of footage, said Keith Holmes, drone pilot of the Hakai Institute. Normally, we were flying between 100 and 200 feet, above the whales, often higher. They didn't seem to notice the drone at all. I guess first of all, 10 hours of footage? How much battery does you bring with that thing? Hello, can anyone identify that drone that they have there? That is basically one of the points too. They flew it and they didn't care, as opposed to people saying you should keep this stuff away in every single situation when it comes to things like animals. Although for the most part, I think common sense, like with a whale, if you're up there, I don't think they care. If anything, they probably care more about the boats, the people that are actually on the water the same level as they are. Because you never know, it could be used for a good study too. And imagine if just recreational people were just flying as well, accidentally capturing stuff. I mean, there's a huge difference between someone flying this stuff right into, like, say, the animal's face to, quote, harass them. And there's another thing, just to fly and capture things like this, because you never know. You might basically discover something that no one ever knew. Kind of reminds me of the comments like some of you wrote before, where when you see there's like an animal near the drone at times, like when I film, they actually don't care. Like say a duck, you're just like, ah, whatever, it's you again. And basically for you, you're saying, what? That completely distorts what everyone's telling you, like in the media and so forth. Like it's just a myth. But in general, overall, I think an animal is just like everyone else in the sense of if they get used to something, then they don't care. If they see it for the first time, they think it's a threat, then of course they're gonna be scared just like everyone else. I mean, just look at people. Some people are terrified of these drones and stuff too, right? Whereas like a kid that grows up with this stuff nowadays, they just look at it like, cool! And just the other random thought too, just with the picture of the guy launching the drone with his hand on the boat, it reminds me, again, what I said before, like here in Canada anyways, for the advanced, you have to go through an in-person flight review. It just reminds me of that comment where a person before said, if you ever launch the drone with a hand in my review, that type of thing, I'll fail you. I'm like, people have to do that normally in a legitimate way like here. So even with things like drones, regulations, and trainings, I mean, it's still kind of in its infancy, but it makes you wonder if those people with a very, I guess, stubborn or old way of thinking, traditionalist, whatever you want to call it, not open-minded, whether or not that affects basically how the tech and stuff is going to evolve. Because for many ways with the drone, anyways, from my observation, launching it up with one hand isn't the equivalent of, let's say, someone doing a driving test or driving with one hand on the wheel. It's just better in some cases to actually hand launch it. Cool captures overall too. I like that when it basically something that you do solves multiple things in one. Like here you can capture very cinematic stuff and at the same time help people with all the data and stuff like that. Holy cow, you can lose a whole jacket here in the park? How'd that happen? Recognizing me, it's like, I already have a peanut, what do I do? I don't think I can follow you there, bud. Thermal camera would have actually made it super easy to hunt it out here. But oddly enough, for the shipping and stuff like that, I still haven't heard back from the manufacturer and all that. Makes me wonder what's going on. Alright, see you guys later.